everyone, welcome to a new episode of Retina Chats. I'm Mohammed Ghunaim and with me Dr. Mustafa Al-Manhali.
Hello everyone.
So today I'm going to be chatting about a diabetic vitrectomy case. So this is a 50-year-old patient presenting with a dense vitreous hemorrhage. And as you can see here that there's a lot of vitreous and subhyaloid hemorrhage. So how do you approach this case where you cannot see the retina and you're afraid to just to do an iatrogenic tears early on in the surgery? So how do you proceed?
Actually, in this case, I prefer to call it like a helical PVD, that I go as going downstairs. So you go as a circulatory movement, and as you go move down, and every time you move down, you are shaving or removing a part of the vitreous until you have this window that you can pick that there is a retina underneath of this dense stained vitreous hemorrhage, and you can start from this window to peel or to go for a PVD or enlarge this peripheral vitrectomy.
Yeah, so there's a term called vertical vitrectomy.
I don't prefer to go vertical because probably you are not lucky and you are going to dig in the area where you have a detachment.
Okay, so here I did some of a vertical vitrectomy, and once I reach the subhyaloid space, I'm starting here to just do vacuum and to just remove as much as possible of the subhyaloid hemorrhage, which hinders the visualization of the retina. And but the hemorrhage is too much here, and we can see here that the view is not that good. And then I continue in a circular motion to remove the vitreous 360. But we will see now that the image will be so blurry, and I will not continue vitrectomy as usual, because the hemorrhage below the posterior hyaloid will rise up in the vitreous cavity and cause more and more hindrance of the visualization. So what would you do now when there's a lot of hemorrhage and you just keep on vacuuming and it's never ending? So what will you do?
So if I have this picture and I know that the retina is not elevated and there is no hemorrhage or no traction, I mean, so I will stay in my place just doing vacuum, and after some time I will have a very clear view.
Here you can see I shifted
Yes.
it to air to just to make the hemorrhage settle down to the retina, and within the air bubble we can have a better view. So the hemorrhage settles down on the retinal surface, and now I can vacuum the hemorrhage off the retinal surface with a clearer view. And we can see here that the retinal vessels are becoming more and more pronounced, and the large amount of hemorrhage is decreasing now. So do you like this technique? Or
I only shift to fluid exchange if I cannot clear up the media, or if the hemorrhage is so fresh and it's causing a lot of turbulence, and whatever I'm doing the vacuum, I'm not going to have a clear media. So I shift to the air to compress the hemorrhage over the retina and start to peel it from there.
yeah.
But if I have the appearance that we had, that there is subhyaloid hemorrhage, and I don't prefer to peel under the air because it may turn, may cause a tear in the retina, because you are fixing the retina and you are pulling with the other, with the cutter. So this is not, in my opinion, it is not safe. However, it looks very, very good now, and I think you are shifting.
Would you
Again
consider this technique if the patient is phakic or pseudophakic to shift to air? Would this change your decision?
Yes, if it is pseudophakic, I would hesitate longer to shift to air, because it may hinder the view throughout the surgery, because small droplets will stay at the back of the IOL, and it will hinder the vision of the view of the fundus throughout
And
your
also in
surgery.
physics, you have a problem with this technique.
It is
That
not as in
yeah,
pseudophysics.
but you can see here that small bubbles of air are trapped behind the lens, and you have to
Yes,
get them
but just by
removed.
suction using the cutter, you can get rid of these.
Okay, but
But in pseudophysics, it will cause a film at the back of the IOL. It will be a miserable view unless you add a Helon or a Visco solution behind the lens.
okay, now getting to the more critical part, there is a tractional retinal detachment. As you can see, there is a large membrane with a broad adhesion. I can't really find a plane of dissection at this time. I'm trying to tease it out with an end gripping forceps, but it seems to me that it will tear the retina, and this is the not correct plane. So here I shifted to staying with Triamcinolone in hopes that Triamcinolone will get me
An edge.
an edge, yeah, and the correct plane, so I could start dissecting the membrane with in the right space from the beginning without causing, hopefully, without causing any tears. So I know you don't like Triamcinolone, but would you consider this
No,
in such a
for
case?
me, this broad attachment or membrane, I would only go for whether unimanual vitrectomy, especially with the 25 cutter, because I can dissect and separate this membrane, or I may shift to bimanual technique.
Okay.
Because even this is a very broad and very hard. Even if you find the edge of the vitreous, I doubt that you can even undermine this membrane without causing any iatrogenic breaks. So you have
Yeah.
to segment it, or you have to go and cut all these epicenters.
Okay. So I like Triamcinolone. I think it adds a lot of benefit, especially in diabetic vitrectomy. It highlights these thin membranes that usually I can't see without Triamcinolone. Here, it gave me an edge that helped in dissection. But you are right. This is a broad adhesion, and you're going to cause tear. Here's the iatrogenic tear just happening, and it's without even touching the the broad adhesion. But the broad traction is one of the difficult parts of diabetic vitrectomy. But we can see here that once I peeled the hyaloid around it, that the membrane is coming more
Loose,
easier
yeah,
than before, and
sure.
so this is how I deal with these cases. If I can't find the right plane from the start, I stain to see better and peel the membrane from its root. Also, we can see here that there's a thin hyaloid even in the more healthier parts of the retina that are do you believe that this part of the hyaloid is essential to be removed, or
Yes, as the name of the surgery is vitrectomy, you have to remove all the vitreous.
okay, how do you see this without Triamcinolone? Because this is very thin film, even
I
if you
have
suction.
some clues. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
Especially in diabetics, if you have a very thin film of hemorrhage in the inferior part of the retina and you cannot shave it or you cannot even suck it with the vacuum, so there is a layer of the vitreous over this part. So I may stain with triamcinolone for these cases, or I'm starting to peel and shave over this area, and I can find the edge of the PVD, and I may go as a retrograde PVD induction from the periphery to the center. So the sheen of the vitreous itself may give you a clue that if there is a residual of the vitreous over the retina or not, and the trapped hemorrhage as well. And sometimes when you move with the cutter and you have this fluid coming inside the eye from the infusion, sometimes this may alone may detach part of the vitreous, and after
Okay.
you think that you have finished your vitrectomy, you find some of the vitreous floating at the periphery.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
tend
these are the
to,
clues, but
yeah,
you're not 100% sure with that Triamcinolone. This is my experience, at
mhm.
least. And these thin films, you can't really see if there's no hemorrhage behind them. You can't really see them without stain. Okay, to the next step. There are two iatrogenic tears. Do you prefer doing diathermy on them, or just
No.
You never do diathermy on
I
that.
do diathermy if
Okay.
I have a very small tear, peripheral one for rheumatologists without any cause of tractional, that when I shift to air to remove the subretinal fluid, I may miss the place of the tear. But here I have the edge and I can put a
Identify
landmark.
them.
Yeah, I can put the landmark where the tear is. So I don't like to add that much diathermy because it may turn the edges of this tear into a fibrotic one, and it may cause for myself, it may cause a late recurrence or a abnormal attachment of the retina.
Okay, so I know the tears here are obvious and I can see them, but I believe that in diabetics, if I don't do this is my personal experience. If I don't do diathermy on these breaks, especially posterior breaks, that I can have some subsilicon hemorrhage around the breaks. Okay, so I used to not do diathermy, but when I had many cases of silicon hemorrhage, then I
So you
decided to start doing diathermy, and they are less and less
so you
now.
cauterize for a hemostasis and not
Yes,
for.
not for identifying breaks. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So in this case, she was traveling and she needed early rehabilitation. I decided to put on silicon. What's your ideal tamponade in this case?
I would leave it on air or half filled air and fluid.
Okay,
It went
so
very well.
yeah, it went well, but since she was traveling, it was just uh, I put silicone. Would you inject like I did at the end of surgery? I injected anti-VEGF at the end of
Yes,
yeah.
I will inject
Put silicone in these cases. When would you remove the silicone?
1 month.
1 month.
There is no need for the silicone except she's traveling and you want to secure the retina.
Okay, so if this is just air or gas for you, and you'll just opt for an early silicone oil. Do you have any comments? Do you want to change anything in this case or add anything?
No, it went very well, except the part that you shifted on air and you started to peel the subhyaloid hemorrhage on air, because I've witnessed that in the periphery, someone has tried it even to shave the vitreous and trying to pull it before cutting the vitreous, and it was attached with a broad attachment, and it came up with the retina. So
Okay.
you were pulling over the fovea itself, so it may turn out the fovea or the macula.
Yeah.
So this is the most uh, feeling part for me. Other than that, it's a very nice surgery and very neat one.
Yeah, but I just want to highlight that vitreoschisis is one of the things that you have to be wary about in diabetic vitrectomy, and you have to, for myself, stain once or twice to just detect the thin layer of posterior hyaloid. And if this layer is not removed, then you may have a lot of membranes in the post-operative period and maybe recurrences. So we have to remove as much as possible of this thin membrane and to stain them and to look for them in every diabetic case.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you.